The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Our former fearless leader. Keyword former. Because here in about 72 hours, Johnny B. Biden, he's going to wake up in the White House for one of the last times. His lifelong dream of becoming president and destroying the country, that lifelong dream will be over. And God willing, the lifelong dream of cackling Cam Harris, it will be over too, and she will return to anonymity. Her political career will be on life support with absolutely no hope of recovery. You know, you really get to know the character of someone when they are going through difficult times. It's easy to be friends. It's easy to be in a relationship when everything is going your way. But it's how you conduct yourself when times are tough that really defines who you are. Last night was arguably the most impressive win for my New Orleans Pelicans since Willie Green became the head coach. It was the most impressive win during the Zion Williamson era. Well, KC, they won 2 playoff games 2 years ago. They've had big wins before during the regular season. How in the hell can a game in early November be their most impressive win? It wasn't even about the win. It wasn't about the results. Even if they had lost last night, it still would have been their most impressive performance. The Pels were missing 3 starters, 4 rotational players. They were out with injuries. Now, unlike Joel Embiid or guys like Anthony Davis, Tony! The dudes missing games in New Orleans, they've got legitimate injuries. If Herb Jones isn't playing, Herb Jones is hurt. Trey Murphy, he doesn't miss games because he's got a head cold. Last night was a gut check performance for Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. For 5 years, local and national media, and the fan base for that matter, everyone has been saying that Zion and B.I., they can't play together. Willie Green was on the hot seat. He is literally coaching for his job during this 4-game homestand. The entire team's back was against the wall. No one expected them to win last night. The vibes going into that game, they were absolutely horrific. Rumors were swirling that Willie Green had lost the locker room. Through the first 5 games, it looked like the same bland, boring Pelicans. No creativity, no sense of urgency, no energy. At times, it seemed like the players had given up. They didn't care. And then they come out against an Indiana Pacers team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they gave an inspiring performance, arguably the most impressive performance in the Willie Green era. When everything was against them, when it seemed like the media, even the fan base was against them, they came together instead of falling apart. They united instead of blaming each other and creating division. I can't say the same about cackling Cam Harris. The campaign of cackling Cam seems to be falling apart. Things have gotten so bad. Our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, he has essentially been fired from the campaign. Cam's told Johnny B that it's okay for him to return to playing Dungeons and Dragons. Pack your things. Your services are no longer needed. I am more than capable of losing this election on my own. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Trump Trends. Trump Trends just released an exclusive collector's edition of gold boots and sneakers. Now, these gold-plated shoes, they are made with premium Italian-grade leather and handcrafted right here in America. There's only 1,000 pair of these limited edition boots and shoes available. These are the perfect gift for the collector in your family. With Christmas right around the corner, you can give them a rare piece of history by making them one of the very few people that own a pair of limited edition Trump footwear. Since these are handcrafted with strong American hands, takes time for them to be prepped and shipped. If you want these to arrive by Christmas, they need to be ordered by next Tuesday, so You can vote for Trump next Tuesday and purchase these limited edition shoes or boots at the same time. Trump Trends is your one-stop shop for everything Donald Trump. And the best part is, when you purchase something from Trump Trends, a portion of your purchase, it is donated to the campaign of Donald Trump. So join over 30,000 satisfied customers by clicking the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10. Save 10% off your first purchase with Trump Trends. Now, due to the backlash that he created by referring to half the country as garbage, Cam Harris, she demanded that Johnny B. Biden apologize for his honesty. His remarks. Like I told you guys the other day, I think John Biden was just being honest. I also think he was intentionally sabotaging Cam Harris. I guess he was taking care of two WNBA dump divers with one pile of garbage. When Johnny B. Biden called us garbage, he was giving us a brief glimpse into the minds of deacons at Woke United Methodist. Make no mistake about it, Johnny B. Biden, he meant exactly what he said. He was telling you exactly what the deacons think about you. Although Cackling Cam demanded that Johnny apologize so we could all get back to enjoying fake laughter, Johnny B., he outright refused. I will never apologize for being honest. I will also not apologize for sabotaging the woman who took my job as replacement loser. Instead of apologizing for his honesty, Johnny B. Biden, he issued a statement clarifying his remarks. Earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric that Trump supporters were spewing about Puerto Rico as garbage. That's the only word I could think of to describe it. If you were offended by my remarks, fuck you. Well, I wasn't offended by your remarks, Johnny B. Matter of fact, I was appreciative. I will always appreciate anyone who tells me what they think. What I don't appreciate is the cover-up. What I don't appreciate is you lying to me. When the White House released the transcript of Johnny B's remarks, they made it appear that Johnny B was talking about Trump supporters' personal garbage. They put an apostrophe in supporters, so it seemed like he was referring to their words, their rhetoric, instead of to the people themselves. Now, of course, no one believed it. No one was biting into that shit sandwich because very few people believe anything that escapes the facial orifice of John Biden. But as a result of all this controversy, along with Johnny B's refusal to apologize, Cam Harris has made an executive decision. For the first time ever, someone associated with the Biden administration, they lost their jobs. They have been fired. They didn't fire anyone after that disaster in Afghanistan. They didn't fire anyone after the southern border was pounded into the bruised caboose without the soothing benefit of Preparation H. They didn't fire anyone after undocumented migrants were given luxury accommodations that dump divers in the WNBA dream of having. I know we joke a lot about the WNBA dump, but I would rather see anonymous dump divers staying at the Four Seasons than people who are here illegally. To my knowledge, no one has been fired for incompetence in the administration of Johnny B. Biden. Now, ironically enough, incompetence, it still hasn't gotten anyone fired. As it turns out, the only way to get fired is to be honest. According to Fox News, John Biden has been removed from the campaign of Cackling Cam Harris. Watch the report for yourself.
Tonight, Fox News has learned multiple campaign calls that were publicly advised on the president's schedule for yesterday afternoon were canceled as he faces continuing fallout over his garbage comment on a Zoom earlier this week. Biden has no official campaign events on his schedule ahead of the election, Brad.
Do I blame Cam Harris for firing Johnny B. Biden? If someone was intentionally sabotaging my campaign, I would fire their ass too. But it's just the latest example of the disaster of this campaign. Every day, there seems to be another controversy with Cam Harris. If her campaign is this controversial, if her campaign is this unorganized, if her campaign lacks leadership, how in the hell can anyone expect her to properly run the country? If she can't run a campaign, how is she going to run the country? Like I said earlier, you can really see the true character of someone by how they act during tough times. Let's take a look at the behavior of Cam Harris. Every year, she turns over 90% of her personal staff. Those 12,000 jobs that were created last month, I bet most of those jobs came from Cam Harris. Several weeks ago, when Cackling Cam failed to appear at the Al Smith dinner, an event that played to the only strength of Cam Harris because it's an event where fake laughter is not only acceptable, it's encouraged. There's only one person to blame for Cackling Cam not attending the Al Smith dinner: Cam Harris. Who does she blame? I give you a hint, she didn't blame herself. Instead, she cursed out and berated her campaign manager. The vitriol was so severe, her campaign manager was crying on the other end of the phone. And now, Cam is essentially firing Johnny B. Biden, the president. She is telling Johnny B. that he is no longer needed on her campaign. The weekend before the election. And Cam is telling the president, "We don't need you." Have you guys noticed there hasn't been any internal conflict with the Trumpers campaign? It's weird. Cam Harris claims to be the vibes candidate, but the vibes seem to be a hell of a lot more positive with the Orange Man. There haven't been reports of internal arguing and fighting, and believe me, if it was happening, the media would report it. Hell, I am surprised they haven't just made shit up and pretended like it was happening. Everyone on the Trump side seems to be getting along, while things seem to be falling apart with Cam Harris. Why? Why do you think that's the case? Maybe, just maybe, it has to do with leadership. Believe it or not, leadership matters. You want to know what happens to an organization when you don't have strong leadership? You end up like the New Orleans Saints. It took Sean Payton and Drew Brees 15 years to build a winning culture in an organization that was known for nothing but losing for the previous 40 years. It took 15 years of strong leadership to build that culture. And it's taken Dennis Allen less than 3 years to destroy it. Look at what's happened to the country under the lack of leadership of John Biden. What is going to happen if we have 4 more years of weak leadership with Cam Harris? I hope we don't find out. Do you think we will? Who do you think wins this election? And look, just to be perfectly clear, whether the Trumper wins or Cam Harris wins, we are going to be fine. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in the theatrics of politics. So many people think that the right president is going to turn things around. And while that might be true for the country as a whole, the only person that can turn things around and improve your life is you. I have made more money with John Biden as president than I did with the Trumper. Why? Has absolutely nothing to do with John Biden or Donald Trump, has everything to do with me no longer accepting misery and mediocrity and finally deciding to do something about it. So whether Trump wins or Cam wins, we are going to be fine. But God willing, the Trumper wins this election. I think he will. What about you? Also, give me your thoughts on Cam firing Johnny B. Biden. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the second channel tomorrow.